Hey guys, XJ9 here, and today's going to be a video about the combat beta update of November 2nd, 2023. Um, I played for I think like 30 minutes and I was reading mostly the tooltips and seeing the damage ranges and stuff. But first off, before we go into detail, I think these changes are great for a great direction. So I'm just gonna say that I think this is a very good sign in terms of what this is pumping out, and I'll explain why towards the end. So I'm gonna quickly talk about this. They did some behind the scenes advanced systems that Necromancy introduced to all the three styles. Um, they updated the tooltips of a bunch of abilities. So, like for instance, instead of a fixate saying 400% to 672% damage total, it'll say the how much damage each tick of a fixate does because there's 4 hits, so it does 100 to 120% in the beta every hit. So that's good. They're gonna do more changes, like more clarifications and stuff. Um, I don't care about that. For you PvPers, they also reduce crit damage from like for instance, if you have 66, reduce the PV scaling from 66% to 20%. So if you have 50% critical strike damage, it only deal 10% critical strike damage. So I've seen a lot of people actually complain about like Castle Wars. You can't actually like do anything because you just die instantly. Um, so damage squishing. This is probably the biggest change in this beta iteration. Is for instance, Rack, let's say he does 40 to 140% damage, right? I think it's 20 to 140% damage, which is a high variance spell. However, in the beta, I think it's like 60 to 80, or like 80 to 100 or something like that, right? And it gets rid of the high end, but it makes it a very consistent ability to use. And because it's also consistent, it means the crit damage that you get from the beta is also going to be consistently high instead of like critting for only 20% ability damage. They also made the tooltips more digestible. So, for instance, if something says like 112% damage, it'll say 110% damage. Like they're all flat numbers, so it's easy to calculate in your head. Okay, what's the middle? What's between 100 and 120? Okay, 110. So it's 110 average damage. Like that's the bit in between. That's how what you'll be hitting in average. Um, this isn't that important. It's something with to do with snapshot, great ricochet, and snipe. No longer scale damage from the previous hit and instead do a separate damage calculation, because if you snapshot it's something to do with like fringe cases where like Ruby Bolts was doing more than 30k damage, so just trim that up. That doesn't matter too much, I don't think. um, so another big change in the beta was they removed the damage per level granted by boosting magic range and strength stats. They rebalanced Magma Tempest in particular because it's a really expensive codex to account for the loss of damage. Now deals 15 to 19% ability damage each hit, up from 5 to 19%. This change is very noticeable. I think in the beta, and I'll talk about it towards the end. I'm gonna go through this very fast. But essentially, if someone was 80 magic and they boosted to 90 magic, they were stronger than someone with 90 magic that just had 90 magic and no boost. So they literally just got rid. So like if you are a maniacal aura and you're 99 magic, and you go from 99 to 120, um, remove damage per level granted by boosting magic. Yeah. So if I overload from 99 to 120, I don't think I'm getting any damage boost. I think it's only for accuracy now, unless like I'm not sure if I'm misinterpreting this, but I think it just literally just got rid of the damage and it only gets accuracy now. It also might be uh, it doesn't give the boosted potion stats. So like if you overload to 120, it'll treat as if you're level 120 magic, because for some reason boosted stats meant more. Like 20 boost levels and boosted stats meant more than 20 levels like in a flat stat. Like so if you were 70 magic but boosted at 90, you were stronger than someone with 90 magic. I'm not sure which one it is. I think they just just removed the damage, and I'll be honest, I think it's very noticeable, the damage removal, because I think my Zamorak kill, it was like 10-20. And yeah, I'm like really rusty with magic. I'm just kind of like moving around in Germany ping and stuff. But like my other beta kill I did before this change was like 830. I didn't know what I was doing. So I think there's definitely it's quite a big nerf damage, which I actually don't mind. But again, it is a beta, so I wouldn't say like, oh, yep, they're nerfing damage. They might just again fix it and make it like relatively the same to how it was before. I would rather it be lower or a bit below or exactly the same, which is really hard to do exactly the same. I wouldn't want it to be stronger. So again, I'm not sure. Again, they're gonna do more. So like this isn't like, oh wow, damage is reduced. Um, so I'm just gonna move on from there. Skew damage rolling. Remove skew damage rolling from December Slaughter, Combustion, Fragmentation Shot, which just means is that you are more likely to roll for the lower damage than the higher damage. Like if Fragmentation Shot was to say was 50 to 100% damage every hit, you would think it's, oh, the medium is 75%. No, it's actually more likely to be. It's like the medium is actually like 64, 66%. And what, like, it was kind of like really confusing. So it's just again a more consistent. Bleeds are just relatively more consistent. Uh, Funny change with melee. Greater Fury. Critical strike chance went from 10% on the next ability to 100% on the next melee ability. I like this change simply because I don't like when people can buff with other styles and like benefit from it. Again, if they're doing stuff like this, I really feel like they should just reintroduce the ability so that you can't use tsunami and then go back to range and benefit from tsunami. It's such a niche case. I just feel like, I mean, I don't really care too much. It's not like something that makes me angry, but like I just feel like for the sake of consistency, like they should do that, because then it's like, why is there different rules for other things? In like such a gameplay fundamental way. But overall, I'm a fan of this. Again, this might not be balanced. That's a 100% crit chance on the next ability, and Greater Fury might be absolutely a broken ability. I guarantee there's a lot of people buying up Greater Fury, but they even said they just want to test it. They might not make it 100%. They might make it 40%. They might make it 30%. One thing that's also interesting. It would be interesting if they ever made. I mean, the invention is kind of weird, but I was gonna say, what if there was a build where you actually don't build any crit chance and you just go full damage or something, or survivability, and you just abuse 100% crit chance, something like that. But I don't think that will exist. But again, this isn't a given. Like this isn't gonna ship. They literally said because it's a beta, we put 100%. Like they just want to see how it goes. Maybe they will ship it. It just depends if it's too strong or not. But it's very free right now in the beta. It's like very, I think, core to a melee rotation. They fix how Spirit Annihilation works. Masterwork Spirit Annihilation works with Blood Tendrils. Because for some reason, when you use Blood Tendril, you would get hit 4 times at the start instead of it being, you get hit periodically. Like because it's supposed to be an extra 3 hits with the Spirit Annihilation, you would take the extra 3 hits at the beginning, which is very weird. That's all that changes. Greater Barge. I like this change. When you barge, and let's say I have Greater Barge, and I barge, and I put Destroy. Destroy is boom, 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 boom. How Greater Barge is, if you do use Destroy with Greater Barge, is you would put Destroy and it go pew, 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 like slow. But now it's gonna hit in the speed of the threshold. So I like this because now it's like you'll know it's working. I agree with this. It's a clarity change. I like clarity changes. So, like a ability like assault, it's just like 1, 2, and then you lift your hand. Then it's the third hit right there. It'll go like it'll match the animation of the ability, which is very good instead of being a separate. You know, I don't know. I'm making it too confusing. I'm not sure of the implications of this. Berserk is now a multiplicative modifier as opposed to an additive modifier. I'm not sure of the implications because I don't know. Like, I don't know if this means like, does Zero's God's Sword now stack with Zerk? Did it? I don't even know if it already did or not. I don't know. Maybe someone can say in the comments, what does this mean? Because I actually don't know what this means exactly in terms of like, what does it mean right now? Like, can you stack Zerkar? Can you stack Zero's God's Sword? Can you not stack the damage amps anymore? Like, what does it mean? I'm actually curious. I don't know what that means. They didn't really say what it means, like what it would imply. Um, I like this flurry change too, because no one really uses flurry for AOE. Except probably extremely niche cases, maybe Slayer or something. Um, in AOE, because you do more damage with greater flurry to a single target, but now no matter if you're hitting 1 target or 9 targets or I think 25 targets, you'll always do the full damage to all the targets. So greater flurry is actually a good AOE ability now, and actually encourages you even in Slayer. So I like this change a lot. I think that change is also good. Greater dazing shot. Essentially, all they're doing is when you shoot greater. It's also dazing shot, I believe, too, not just greater dazing shot. So I believe it is also both variations of dazing shot. When you shoot your arrow for 4.2 seconds, the the enemy cannot his next attack will has a 10% less accuracy. And before it was like something clunky where uh what was it? Like any attack amazing. Any attack from within duration. Um now active and not cleared on attack. Oh yeah, interesting. So not cleared on attack. Not active. What does that mean? Not cleared on attack. The hit chance debuff was only active for with this. I'm not sure exactly what that means because like I'm just assuming like when you put it on until that hit hits you, that like that hit's gonna be 10% less damage. Maybe it was like oh Zarex gonna hit you with a. I honestly don't. I honestly don't get the first part. I mean, I honestly think I do, but I'm kind of being stupid right now. But in general, they just cleaned up a lot of things. If you have two rangers, let's say use Greater Dazing Shot, and it's 3.6 seconds in, someone uses it again, it'll actually refresh because it wouldn't refresh right now in live. Um, Punctured. Modify to deal the correct amount of hits and scale appropriately. I'm not sure what this means. They didn't explain anything here. So again, I didn't test out range. I don't have a bow last guard in my account, by the way. But my girlfriend does, so maybe I'll just get that. Deathsness and Sunshine got their from 7x7 to a 5x5. This is going to take some getting used to because that big Sunshine and Deathsness are like so many metas I think are formed around that. Like Zamrock you put in the middle, but now it's really small. So I mean I don't mind the change. I mean I actually like nerfs. I'm not joking. I actually like nerfs, but also it's a clarity change because the visual now matches the actual effect. Bombardment, very good change here too. Is oh okay. I was just making sure I was recording. When you use bombardment, it's going to AOE around the target instead of like um instead of the yeah as opposed from the southwest south. Because right now if you use bombardment, it would look for targets southwest of the monster, but now it's going to look all around it, just like Soul Sap or Soulstrike, I believe it's called. And this change in general, I think, is really nice, just because one thing with Necromancy I like about Soul Strike is the AoE just feels good and responsive. It feels like yes, if I AoE this target, it should hit all the other targets around it. And Barbarian's not really used at all. It's only really used in Dungeoneering. So big fan of this change. Honestly, I like this. I mean, I think some people do use bombardment, but mostly for single target. So seeing maybe more AoE use instead of just using Chinchampas, I think is a like I like that change. Um, Metamorphis has actually got buffed. Went from 62.5% increase to 66%. So Metamorphosis is better. Is actually a lot. Like really encouraged to use it at Zamrak's last phase before he does his no when you're doing the second cycle, like so you do one cycle of part 7, he's charging up again. This will help him like kill him before he kills you essentially. um I'm confused why they didn't just make it like 65% or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe 66 just look cooler. Maybe I don't know. Sunshine. If there's a Sunshine visual nerf, so again, it's 5x5 now. You can't step outside the Sunshine and get buffed. They okay. I feel like they don't like the Stern Gobble. I feel like Jax is real. Like, why was it? I've got 99 problems, and Stern Gobble is all of them. I feel like they really don't like the Stern Gobble because the Stern Gobble, ever since they rebuffed it like 3 times back, after Talos was released, I feel like they're like, man, this thing's broken. Um, they updated the following special attacks that squish damage ranges and particularly updated tooltip systems. More changes to come. So they're going to change more special attacks, but they changed all the ones that were mainly used. So Dragon Helper is used. So Dragon Claws, Dragon 2H, Dragon Dagger, Zuck Sword, Gothic Staff, Orbital Battle Staff, Dark Bow, Bow Last Guardian, not the passive though, and Sword God Bow. Essentially, again, like they're going to do that instead of having 40 to 200% damage. They're going to be that crunch damage range. Gothic Staff, like for instance, hits very consistent. I think 6 to 8Ks always now instead of like I don't know. Sometimes we hit a 5K. Saren Gabo, apparently there's something funky with the code, but essentially it does the same damage. It just explained why. Um, I overall I like all these changes a lot. These changes actually made me a lot more peace of mind because I recently made a community post on my YouTube saying like I'm very worried about the combat beta, and because like I just really don't like how people look at like this combat beta and just go, oh my god 30K, oh my god 30K, oh my god 1 million DPM, and it's like betas had necromancy and people were complaining about that, and we had people playing, oh, stop gatekeeping people, but it's like that's not what RuneScape is. You're not having god powers isn't fun. Okay, like okay, it's fun for like a second, then you get bored. Um, Necromancy is still very strong. I'm actually very used to Necromancy. It's all I've been doing. Um, but these changes have made me a lot more confident because these are really good changes, and it shows that they're being very wary of damage creep. Like again, I'm expecting them to actually buff damage a little bit somehow. I get because again, there's a system in place that's not going to go come out next on this Monday, the next Monday. So on November 13th is going to be the big batch of updates, probably to like maybe the abilities, like maybe and removing like dead abilities maybe or something. But there's gonna be some big changes. So if damage seems a bit low, which I think it is, I might be wrong. I might have just played really bad today on stream. I might do some more kills to see maybe I was playing bad. That Germany ping really messes you up. But I might do some more kills. But I feel like the damage is lower. But again, I'm not saying it should stay that low. I mean, I don't mind if they do it. Great. I like challenges. I like longer fights. I love that stuff. I love more immersive fights. I love mechanics. But again, if they want to bump the damage back up to very close or at the dot the levels that we had previously, like right now in live, that's fine. Uh, so again, just give me your feedback and stuff. Don't be toxic as all. But right now, my feedback is this is really good. I think this is a really good direction. I love consistency. Ever since the Staff of Armor was released, I even made a thread before. I was like, don't you guys like hate the high variance on how like your ambassador kill can go from like 3 minutes to like all of a sudden like 140 because you got super lucky? And some people are saying, oh yeah, I like it, but then it's like then a year later people didn't like it anymore. um, so again, some variance is good. I said this on my stream, so I'm not gonna try to repeat myself too much, but yeah, some variance is good, but I just like how everything feels, and I like that they, especially compared to the last beta. I don't know how strong the last Guardian is, but range was mega broken just with 1 million DPM. It was really stupid. Okay, I would probably say Enrique to 1 million DPM because people are just like taking a 40-second time frame and saying 1 million DPM, but it's like what happens in the other 20 seconds? You don't have Death Witness, so you can't say 1 million DPM because what happens for the other 20 seconds? Um, so I'm honestly really surprised they actually are doing these type of changes and actually like adjusting things. I just really hope they don't screw it up. I really hope I'm not jinxing it and they're just gonna be like, you know what, screw it. We're going back to pre necromancy nerf levels of brokenness. Like, please don't do that. Okay, like make more builds, make more different play styles. Stop buffing damage. Like let's have a tank class. Oh, and one other thing is I do actually believe they're actually raising stats to 120 because in the beta, if you look at strength, I think, or I'm not sure about attack, but I know magic and range. If you go to magic and range, well, the levels 100, 110, and 120, you get crit damage bonus. I'm not sure if it's about with regarding like if you actually pot up or if they're actually going to do 120 combats, which is very interesting. There wasn't any 120 defense though, which is very strange. Uh, that's kind of weird. I think they probably should do the 120 defense. Although, if they did do 120 defense, you would be a lot. You would be really tanky because those defense levels matter a lot. So they would have to probably rebalance defense or something. So overall, very good changes, and I hope they don't screw this up because this is very good. This iteration is good. I guarantee you, everyone Reddit hates this. I guarantee you, everyone's like, "Damn it, if I'm correct in damage lore, they're saying I hate this. I love it. I love how this feels. I have a lot of confidence reading this. I hope it doesn't go away. Again, it probably will, because every time I get really amped up about something, it's always met with disappointment. But you know, we'll see. I just think it's very interesting. I like that they're actually they clarify like we put 100% crit chance because it's a beta. So on that great creator fury ability. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Bye.